Speaking to me now is the WBO light heavyweight champion of the world, Nathan Cleverly. Nathan, thanks for speaking to me today. Finally, you're going to be fighting back in Wales, defending your world title. How proud are you going to be on that day?
Very proud. It's going to be a special occasion coming back to Wales, defending my world title, coming back as world champion. It's going to be great for me and for Welsh boxing. And we've got some great boys that come on the undercard as well. So it's going to be a great night.
Why do you think it's taking so long for you to fight back in Wales again?
I think it's just been building myself up towards it, really. I've had 10 fights now where I boxed in London, Liverpool, Birmingham, picking up all my titles, picking up my belts, and we've gradually been working towards this, obviously working towards becoming world champion, and then finally getting a real nice homecoming, and that's where we are now.
How satisfying was your last win against Tony Belew in Liverpool?
It was very satisfying. It was a great fight and a good victory for me, because I was going up into Liverpool, into the Lions' Den, hostile environment against an undefeated fighter who was very dangerous, and obviously I won quite comfortably in the end. So it was a good fight to be involved in, and a good win to have on the record.
At times, I've asked you this before, you seem to love fighting as opposed to boxing.
Yeah.
Is that ever going to change, do you think, against different opponents? Or are you always just going to be in there brawling?
I think I'll mix it up, really. I kind of, it's good to be able to box sometimes in the fight at different moments, and other times it's good to be able to fight and to get involved to make it exciting. So I think it's important to keep both of them going, and that's what I intend to do.
Were you surprised by how strong and fit Tony Belew was?
A little bit surprised by how fit he was, although I know he does train very hard. He's very hungry, studies the game. So there was a part of me which knew it was going to be a tough fight anyway. And myself, I predicted an either points win or a late stoppage, so it kind of went to plan. There was a few things in training camp where obviously I had the problem with my rib, and it was only a short training camp, but ultimately I was glad to come out winning, which is most importantly. I wasn't hurt, didn't get hurt, and came out of the fight quite comfortable in the end.
Who would you like your next fight to be against, Nathan?
Well, ultimately we was aiming Babet Shumanov, who's got the WBA version of the world title, but we've made an offer to him, but he doesn't want the fight now. So that was our main target. So obviously now we're going to look elsewhere and get another opponent.
I presume you watched the Carl Froch Ward fight on the weekend. What's your opinion of it?
I think Froch just got outclassed ultimately in the end. Andre Ward's a real top class fighter. He was excellent, and he won the fight quite comfortably in the end. Just a different class, obviously. But Froch, he's a great fighter, a real warrior. I'm sure he'll be back. But yeah, it showed how good Andre Ward was.
Would you like a fight with Carl Froch if he was willing to move up to light heavyweight?
But I know he's whispered it himself in previous interviews. But it's always a fight that could potentially happen. Obviously, I've got my defence now, February 25th. I think Carl is apparently lining up some fight with Kesler or Lucien Boot in the super middleweight division. So he's probably got business to take care of there. But it's always an option for the future, and I'm sure it would be a great fight for the British public as well.
I think a fight between yourself and Froch should be a case of who's willing to take a step backwards, and because neither of you guys sort of real fancy stuff is good. That'd be a brilliant fight.
Yeah, it would be good. It would be good. I think it'd be a great blend of styles, and it could be a real barnstormer of a fight.
Enzo Maccarinelli's returned to boxing in your weight division. He's been You're making a few comments about fighting you. Was that a fight you'd like to take?
That's another one that could happen, you know, down the line. I think as long as if he earns his shot now, then that's always a possibility for the future as well. So there's plenty of options out there, and you know, whichever fight happens, really, you know, I look forward to defending my world title, remaining world champion, and remaining unbeaten. And that's the way it's going to stay. Trust me.
Is there any animosity between yourself and Enzo Maccarinelli?
Well, he's obviously said a few things. He started getting a bit personal, but you know, I'm not responding to that. I'm just going to get on with my business and let my hands do the talking. So I think that's the best way to keep it. You know, it's obviously like with myself and Tony Belew, there's a bit of rivalry before the fight, but you know, ultimately it comes down to fight night and who's number one on the night.
In modern day boxing, there's 4 people who claim to be light heavyweight champion of the world. Are you going to be content just to fight your mandatories, or are you looking to unify the division?
Yeah, definitely. That's my aim, is to unify the division, starting in 2012. So we'll have a few defences now of the world title, and then we'll push on and look for some big fights then, and look to collect all the versions of the world title.
Ethan Cleverly, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers. Cheers, mate. Good luck.